Lil Durk's girl, India Royale, just flipped the game on its head. Word is she appeared in court, and now folks are saying she might have spilled some major tea that could put Durk away for good. The streets are buzzing like crazy. India been his ride or die for years, but now, after all the drama and Durk's arrest on some wild murder-for-hire charges, she might be the one taking him down. Say it ain't so. Could India really be the one to fold on Durk after everything? Lil Durk's girlfriend shows up in court. Rapper Lil Durk's life hit a rough road recently when he was arrested on federal charges that have shocked fans and shaken the hip-hop world. Durk, also known as Durk Derek Banks, was arrested over allegations of conspiring to murder a rival rapper's family member in what prosecutors are calling a calculated and brutal attack. The charges stem from the August 2022 killing of Saviaya Lil Pab Robinson, cousin to Quando Rondo, at a Los Angeles gas station. But it's not just his legal troubles making headlines. It's the unwavering support he's getting from his girlfriend, India Royale, who showed up outside the courthouse, standing by her man in a way that got social media buzzing. India's surprise appearance sparked a mix of reactions from fans, with many calling her a real one and admiring her loyalty, while others questioned if she'd stick with him through what's likely to be a tough, drawn-out battle in court. One fan on X, formerly Twitter, said, "A real man need that kind of woman," while another added, "Let's see if she will stick to him during this hard time." And India's been there through thick and thin since they got together in 2017. She's seen Durk rise from the underground Chicago rap scene to one of the biggest names in hip-hop, and she's been right there through the ups and downs. Durk and India's love story is one of those relationships that the fans love to see, even when it gets complicated. Their relationship has been public, from his proposal at Lollapalooza 2021 to India calling herself a free agent on social media in 2022, which led fans to think they were done for good. But Durk stayed loyal, repeatedly professing his love for her, and they got back together in early 2023. He's even talked about wanting to spend his whole life with her, which he's made clear in interviews and songs dedicated to her. But with Durk now facing these heavy charges, it's hard to ignore the strain this will put on their relationship. It's one thing to stand by someone when life's smooth, but it's a different level of commitment when they're locked up and facing years, maybe even decades behind bars. And now India's loyalty is really being put to the test. The allegations against Durk are no joke. Authorities are accusing him and several members of his rap collective, Only the Family, OTF, of plotting to murder a rival gang affiliate, with Durk allegedly calling the shots. The Justice Department announced that Durk, along with other OTF members, were involved in the conspiracy. The case is part of a larger RICO investigation that's been ongoing, and the feds aren't playing around. They're bringing serious evidence and are prepared to bring down anyone tied to this case. The FBI's got receipts too. Court documents say Durk attempted to flee the country multiple times, reserving flights to Dubai, Switzerland, and Italy, trying to stay a step ahead of the law. The feds finally caught up with him in Miami, right as he was about to board a private jet. Authorities claim Durk was doing whatever he could to dodge them, but the FBI had him on their radar the whole time, with agents ready to intercept him before he could skip town. His attorney, Bradford Cohen, pushed back on claims that Durk was fleeing, saying his client was just checking to see if he had a warrant, but the feds aren't buying it, and they say they have solid evidence to back up their case. According to them, Durk's alleged attempt to leave the US shows how serious these charges are, and if he's convicted, he could be facing some very real consequences. Then there's Durk's dad, Big Durk, who's no stranger to legal battles himself. Big Durk, born Dante Banks Sr., was a major player in Chicago's street scene back in the day. He was sentenced to life in prison on drug charges when Durk was just a kid, though his sentence was eventually reduced, and he was released in 2019. Big Durk's been by his son's side since getting out, guiding him and trying to help him stay out of trouble. But seeing his son now facing serious charges must be hitting him hard. Big Durk showed up in Miami to support his son at the hearing, and photos of him walking alongside Durk's lawyer, Alex Ubieta, quickly went viral. It's tough to imagine the emotions he's going through, watching his son follow a similar path that nearly cost him his own freedom. The father-son bond between Durk and Big Durk has always been strong, and having his father's support might be one of the things keeping Durk grounded as he faces this uphill legal battle. As for India, she's not just the ride or die girlfriend. She's built her own brand as an influencer, amassing millions of followers, and she's got two daughters to think about, Skylar and Willow, the latter being her child with Durk. India's posts about her family life, travel adventures, and brand partnerships with companies like Fashion Nova have made her a star in her own right. But even with her success, it's clear that India's loyalty to Durk runs deep. She's the one he's always bringing up in interviews, calling her his rock, the person he'd die about, and the only one he truly trusts. With Durk now waiting to be transferred to Los Angeles, where his case will proceed, India and his family will have some hard days ahead. India's appearance in court signals that she's not going anywhere, at least not yet. Fans are eager to see how this plays out, not just in the courtroom, but in the couple's relationship. While some doubt if she'll stay through the long haul, others are convinced she's in it for the long run, no matter how tough it gets. And the weight of this case isn't something something Durk can brush off. Prosecutors are painting this as a planned, cold-blooded killing that took place in broad daylight, putting innocent bystanders at risk. The FBI isn't letting up either, making it clear that Durk's fame and influence won't protect him from the law. "We will have zero tolerance for those who perpetrate such callous acts of violence," said U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada. With more arrests likely to come, the government's got a strong case that could shake OTF to its core. As details continue to emerge, fans and followers are left to wonder, can Lil Durk and his crew make it out of this? And what does this mean for the future of the man who was once seen as one of hip-hop's most promising voices? The case against Lil Durk. Lil Durk finds himself ensnared in a federal investigation that reads like a movie script. The Chicago-based rapper and leader of Only the Family, OTF, is facing severe allegations from the United States government, which claim he orchestrated the murder of a rival's family member. The feds allege that Durk's rap crew is also a street operation, using music as a front while engaging in violent activities to maintain its grip on the streets. This isn't just any rivalry, it's a calculated conspiracy, according to court documents, that involves high-stakes revenge, a tightly knit circle of soldiers, and a plot that stretched from Chicago to Los Angeles. The case details Durk as more than just a rapper or frontman for OTF. According to the federal affidavit, Durk runs OTF as a dual-purpose operation, a music collective on the surface and an organization that allegedly engages in violent crimes at his direction. While OTF may have gained a legitimate music following, the feds say it has deep roots in Chicago's underworld, and that Durk, as the alleged leader, directs its actions from the top. In 2022, tensions were high between Durk's OTF crew and a rival from his past, a Chicago-based artist identified as TB or QR, Quando Rondo. According to the document, Quando Rondo had personal history with Durk's crew after the 2020 murder of OTF-affiliated rapper and close friend of Durk's, Davon King Von Bennett. Court records claim this loss intensified Durk's pursuit of revenge, and he allegedly placed a bounty on Quando Rondo's life, setting in motion a series of events that culminated in a deadly attack. In August 2022, federal authorities claimed that Durk assembled a team for one purpose: to take down his rival, Quando Rondo, once and for all. The affidavit describes a highly organized setup, with OTF members working across states to track TB and launch a precise assault. According to the documents, Durk's associates flew from Chicago to Los Angeles on August 18, 2022, on tickets allegedly purchased using credit cards tied to OTF finances. The team of hitmen included familiar names from OTF: DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, Asa Houston, and another unnamed co-conspirator, all allegedly carrying out orders directed by Durk. Once in LA, these hitmen checked into a Sheraton hotel in Universal City, California, their stay arranged and paid for by OTF resources, according to the indictment. Later that day, records show Durk himself traveled to California with another co-conspirator on a private jet. His arrival reportedly included the purchase of ski masks, arranged through a credit card in Durk's name, which would later be worn during the shooting. The next day, August 19, 2022, Quando Rondo was in Los Angeles with his cousin, Saviaya Robinson, known as Lil Pab. Surveillance footage captured them getting into a black Cadillac Escalade near the Beverly Center. Unbeknownst to them, two vehicles trailed them throughout the day, waiting for the right moment to strike. The court documents describe a black Cadillac Escalade followed closely by two vehicles: a white BMW, later identified as Murder Vehicle 1, and a white Infiniti, Murder Vehicle 2. The feds say Durk's hitmen followed TB's vehicle for hours before setting up an ambush. When Quando Rondo and Lil Pab stopped at a gas station, three shooters dressed in ski masks and black clothing exited Murder Vehicle 2, advanced on the Escalade, and opened fire. 18 rounds tore through the vehicle, fatally wounding Lil Pab. The shooters then fled, returning to their respective getaway cars, which sped off into the Los Angeles streets. Federal agents investigating the murder later tracked down footage from an In-N-Out restaurant, showing the suspects regrouping after the hit. Among the suspects were DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, and others linked to OTF. Authorities say the group then boarded a one-way flight back to Chicago that same night, using more OTF-financed tickets to escape LA just hours after the shooting. Fast forward to October 2024, the FBI and LAPD, having pieced together evidence from surveillance footage, flight records, and informant statements, conducted a series of raids in Chicago. They apprehended several members of OTF, including DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, and David Lindsay, all allegedly part of the conspiracy. But Durk seemed to sense the heat coming his way. According to the affidavit, federal agents intercepted plans showing he had booked two one-way international flights, one to Dubai and another to Switzerland. Both both known for their limited extradition arrangements with the United States. When he failed to board either, federal authorities picked up intel that he had arranged for a third flight, a private jet to Italy. However, he didn't make it far. The FBI captured Durk at Miami's Opa-locka Executive Airport just an hour before he could depart. This series of actions, from the Fed's perspective, suggests an attempted escape in light of his impending arrest. The government's case against Durk is built on more than just witness testimony. The affidavit outlines a detailed web of digital footprints and financial transactions that allegedly connect Durk to the murder plot. According to the FBI, text messages from Durk warned OTF associates to not book flights under any names involved with me, implying an intent to conceal his involvement. These messages, paired with surveillance footage, credit card records, and details from hotel stays, create a compelling trail leading back to Durk's phone and bank accounts. Court documents allege that 2 American Express cards were instrumental in funding the hitmen's travel, accommodations, and supplies. Both cards were tied to Astronaut Sounds LLC, an entity reportedly managed by both Durk and his manager, OA Records, indicate that the cards were used for one-way flights, hotel rooms, and ski masks for the shooters, all critical components in the murder plan. Additionally, video evidence shows that Durk, along with co-conspirators, appeared in LA only days before the murder, staying in an Encino property his manager had rented. This, according to the feds, implicates Durk in orchestrating the entire setup. Perhaps the most striking element of the case is the alleged presence of a confidential informant from within OTF, who provided critical information to federal agents. According to the affidavit, this insider not only identified key OTF members involved in the plot, but also connected the dots on how OTF allegedly functions both as a music collective and as a gang. The informant's account reportedly corroborates the FBI's evidence, detailing how the crew received funds, assignments, and specific instructions tied directly to Durk. The existence of an insider within OTF sends a powerful message about the government's reach and the challenges Durk faces. In street culture, loyalty is paramount, and a betrayal like this from within his own circle could shatter the foundation of OTF's internal code. Lil Durk allegedly betrayed by OTF member. In the rap world, loyalty is everything. So when Lil Durk, known to fans as the voice of the streets, found out that a close member of his OTF crew had flipped, it sent ripples through the hip-hop community. Federal charges and betrayal allegations now threaten Durk's freedom and have exposed a tangled web of mistrust, secrets, and violence at the heart of OTF. OTF, or Only the Family, formed in 2010, was initially a rap group but grew into a powerhouse within Chicago's drill scene. To outsiders, OTF was Durk's inner circle, his ride or die crew. But recent revelations have exposed fractures within that circle, and the alleged betrayal by OTF Jam reveals how deep those cracks really go. Lil Durk himself seemed to sense the looming threat. In a recent interview, rap legend 50 Cent shared that he had warned Durk to keep an eye on his crew. During a sit-down with the Breakfast Club, 50 said he told Durk to watch his back, especially as fame and power grew around him. "Yo, this is them," 50 recalled, saying, "Just watch him, his crew." The warning came with personal experience. 50 Cent knew firsthand how fast loyalty could turn into betrayal. Durk, it seems, had already been feeling the paranoia. He had become suspicious that people close to him knew too much about his private life. Durk reportedly told 50 Cent that he had no idea how someone had learned his private address.
When you said that to Durk, what was his response to you?
He said, "You know what? He said somebody just came in my house. How do they know exactly what the address is? I don't give my address to nobody."
Then there was the 2021 incident at Durk's home in Brazelton, Georgia, where intruders broke in while he and his girlfriend, India Royale, were inside. The invasion ended in a gunfight, with Durk and India barely escaping unharmed. This brush with death only deepened Durk's sense that someone within his circle was working against him. Rumors of a betrayal became reality when prosecutors dropped the information of a conspirator who many quickly identified as OTF Jam, an insider who had worked closely with Durk. Jam, released from prison in 2022 after a 12-year sentence for attempted murder, had been embraced by OTF upon his release. But instead of loyalty, Jam allegedly wore a wire for the feds, gathering incriminating details on OTF's activities right under Durk's nose. This hidden cooperation reportedly dates back years, with Jam feeding the FBI key information that now forms the backbone of the government's case against Durk and OTF.
But I heard somebody named OTF Jam, they said they've been calling him a rat. And basically he said, "Okay, I'm a rat. Well, watch this. That all this information that I know. rat this, I'm gonna tell this, I'm gonna tell that.
According to the feds, Jam's cooperation allowed them to track and understand OTF's movements, especially surrounding the murder for hire plot targeting Quando Rondo's cousin, Saviaya Lil Pab Robinson. Allegedly, this plot was part of an ongoing feud between Durk and rival rappers tied to the death of his close friend King Von in 2020. Prosecutors say Jam's insider knowledge provided the smoking gun needed to indict Durk as the mastermind behind the murder. The betrayal feels personal, and it is. Jam and Durk's history goes back years. In a resurfaced interview with DJ Jerry, Jam spoke warmly of Durk, recalling how he used to rap for their gatherings and supported Jam throughout his prison sentence. That was bro. Back before the fame and the money, Jam said in the interview. He made a way for me to be straight. But whatever brotherhood they shared, Jam's cooperation has turned their bond into a tragic betrayal of Shakespearean proportions. The federal case against Lil Durk centers on what prosecutors describe as OTF's hybrid identity, a label that doubled as a street gang, funded and organized by Durk himself. With Jam's help, the FBI claims to have untangled a detailed map of OTF's operations, tracking credit card records, surveillance footage, and communication logs that point back to Durk. According to the indictment, OTF used its financial network to move hitmen across the country, putting Durk at the center of the plan. Federal agents claimed that Durk ordered and financed the murder for hire operation targeting Quando Rondo's cousin, hoping to avenge the death of his friend King Von. They say that OTF affiliates flew from Chicago to Los Angeles on flights paid for by OTF credit cards and stayed in hotels booked under names linked to OTF. Jam, the alleged informant, was reportedly critical in exposing these financial transactions, providing details that implicated Durk as the orchestrator. Jam's betrayal didn't stop with logistics. His alleged cooperation allowed the FBI to uncover communication chains between OTF members, each detail building a clearer picture of OTF's actions in California. According to prosecutors, the hitmen tracked Rondo's cousin, driving in formation as they followed his vehicle through Los Angeles. They cornered him at a gas station, firing 18 rounds into his car in a brazen daylight attack that left Lil Pab dead on the scene. Perhaps the most shocking part of the story is how far back Jam's cooperation reportedly goes. Hip-hop insiders, including DJ Academics, have been digging into the details, claiming that Jam began cooperating almost immediately after his release from prison. On an episode of Academics' show, the source Trenches News alleged that Jam had been in contact with the FBI for years and was gathering information from within OTF all along. According to Trenches, Jam's cooperation was fueled by his own needs, specifically after Durk reportedly ignored a request for legal help from Jam's family. Trenches alleged that Jam's baby mama had tried reaching out to Durk for a lawyer, but Durk had brushed her off. The snub allegedly contributed to Jam's decision to flip, leading him to become an informant for the feds. It's a devastating revelation for Durk, who built his career on loyalty and brotherhood, but now faces the reality of betrayal at the hands of his closest allies. The detailed information Jam allegedly provided has become the foundation of the government's case against Lil Durk. Through his cooperation, authorities were able to piece together everything from travel plans to coded language used to discuss the hit. Jam's role, according to the indictment, included disclosing how Durk used specific credit cards to fund the mission, how flights were booked under fake names, and how OTF associates coordinated using encrypted messaging. The feds say Jam's inside knowledge provided them with a roadmap of Durk's operation, painting a picture of how OTF functioned not only as a music label, but as a criminal organization with Durk at the helm. The allegations describe Durk as a kingpin-like figure issuing orders to maintain his street rep and avenge his losses. For Lil Durk, Jam's betrayal is the ultimate downfall of his empire. The rapper who built OTF to be his loyal family now faces the brutal reality that one of his own may be the reason he goes down. OTF, once a symbol of strength and unity in Chicago's hip-hop scene, is now crumbling under the weight of secrets, betrayal, and federal pressure. Fallout from Lil Durk's arrest. Lil Durk's fall from grace is unfolding in real time. Not long ago, he was being celebrated for giving back to his community through his Neighborhood Heroes Foundation, receiving honors from political figures, and promising fans new music. But as legal troubles mount, Durk's reputation and alliances with officials are beginning to crumble. The first domino fell in Broadview, a suburb of Chicago, where Durk had recently received an honorary key to the village for his work through his nonprofit, Neighborhood Heroes. The recognition, presented by Mayor Katrina Thompson, was meant to honor Durk's efforts to uplift youth in his hometown. On October 18th, just days before his arrest, Thompson handed the key to Durk with pride, calling on young people to see him as a role model for change. However, Durk's arrest quickly altered the narrative. On Friday, October 25th, Broadview officials announced that they were rescinding the honor, distancing themselves from Durk amid the serious allegations against him. Mayor Thompson addressed the decision in a public statement, emphasizing the high moral standards expected by residents. In the village of Broadview, the court of public opinion has even higher moral and ethical standards standards of behavior, Thompson wrote. Given the news that Lil Durk Banks has been arrested and charged with murder for hire, the village of Broadview is withdrawing our honorary key to the village granted to Durk and is terminating our partnership with his youth organization. For the mayor, the decision was about protecting the village's reputation and maintaining the trust of the community. Thompson's remarks drew a line between public perception and the presumption of innocence, signaling that in Broadview, the court of public opinion had already spoken. The fallout continued in Chicago, where Mayor Brandon Johnson faced questions about his own relationship with Lil Durk. Durk's nonprofit foundation had donated $150,000 to Johnson's political campaign in June 2023, shortly after the rapper and Johnson met twice, once in person and once over Zoom. Durk was one of Johnson's top contributors, second only to construction unions. But now, with Durk's legal troubles making headlines, there's growing scrutiny over that donation and the rapper's public alliance with Chicago's political leadership. When questioned on Friday about whether he would return the $150,000 donation, Johnson refrained from making any promises. Instead, he highlighted the presumption of innocence and questioned whether it was appropriate to pass judgment on a young black man before a fair trial.
If you're asking me if I should make a judgment on a black man before a full trial has actually come to fruition, I hope you do understand why it is not my position to determine the outcome of someone's life.
The donation itself has come under scrutiny because of its timing and visibility. After Johnson's inauguration, Lil Durk released his Grammy-winning track All My Life, which hinted at his attempts to change his image by working with politicians and using his influence to support the city. "I done sat with the mayor and politicians. I'm trying to change the image," Durk rapped, directly addressing critics who accused him of using politics as a marketing tool. Johnson, who appeared with Durk at several public events throughout the year, defended his alliance by pointing to Durk's efforts in Chicago's communities. Here's another example of a young black man who grew up in severe trauma that led to life choices he has been very open and vocal about, Johnson said, referencing Durk's advocacy for mental health and violence prevention. But while Johnson has shown support for Durk's efforts, his hesitation to return the donation has left the public with mixed feelings about the alliance. While the public fallout has impacted Durk's relationships with political leaders and partners, his music career hasn't escaped unscathed. On October 24th, mere hours before his arrest, Durk had excitedly announced that his next album, Deep Thoughts, would be dropping on November 22nd. The announcement sparked anticipation among fans who had been eagerly awaiting new music after a series of delays and fake track lists circulated online. But now, with Durk detained and legal proceedings looming, the album release is uncertain. Deep Thoughts was intended to mark a new chapter for Durk, exploring themes of growth, reflection, and resilience. Instead, the project may be overshadowed by the very real challenges he faces in court. Fans have been vocal on social media, expressing disappointment and frustration, as they now wonder if the album will be postponed indefinitely or even scrapped altogether. For Durk, the arrest represents more than a temporary delay. It's a blow to his artistic momentum and an interruption to his narrative of redemption. In the end, the story of Lil Durk's rise and fall may become a defining chapter in hip-hop, a genre that has long grappled with the complex relationship between the streets and the stage. As he awaits trial, the question remains, can Lil Durk emerge from this ordeal, or has his own past finally caught up with him? For more content like this, click on the videos showing on your screen now.